What's up, you stupid dumb bandejas, and welcome back. I know it's been a while. Well, not really a while. I have been posting like short little clips on, on YouTube. But if you have not seen that, that's okay. So, as of this video, if you have not read the title, I'm just gonna be telling you some like Grindr horror stories because at the end of the day, if you're a part of the LGBTQ community and you're on Grindr. In one way, shape, or another, you probably may have experienced something along the lines of either crazy, horror, or just sickening, to say the least. But yeah, and this video is going to be more like horror related. And I will leave the link of the stories if you do want to read it or if you want to read along with me. But other than that, let's get straight into it. So the first story is, wouldn't it be strange if you disappeared tonight? ? It says our first spine-chilling story features a young mortuary sciences student on a nighttime date with a seemingly nice man. He sent a pre-date photo to his Grindr match and everything seemed fine. After a relatively nice dinner and movie, the young student found himself at his date's place. Well, that's a lot of things on Grindr. Like, if you go out on a date, which that's very rare, you're gonna do something. They talked about life in general, but the conversation took a sharp left after Grindr guy found out our student works with literal dead people. Wow. Or mortuary. I just can't say it. So he proceeded to ask me if I was ever scared to go on dates. I, of course, said no. But then he started asking pretty dark questions. What would happen if I died on this date? What would you do with my body? Would you hold me until the ambulance arrived? Can I use cement to bury a body? So clearly it just seems like after he told him what he does, like as a job, he started asking these weird ass questions, which is understandable, but there's sometimes people just take it way too far. So I pulled my pants up when he asked, wouldn't it be strange if you just disappeared tonight? That wasn't scary. I was, what? He was just asking you questions. I mean, I get it. Like, I would be scared, but like, still, like, what? So this one is called Edward Scissorhands. Hooking up with strangers is the name of the game on Grindr, which is true for many adventurous gay guys. So where he recounts one of the most horrific things that happened to him while hanging with a date. His friend, Larry, met up with his Grindr date. Let's call him George. How are you getting dates on Grindr? After swapping pictures and memes, and they had a pretty lovely night together over dinner and a good heart-to-heart conversation. I feel like these are fake. Because it's like, how are y'all getting dates on Grindr? And I can't. That don't make sense, but okay. After learning that George had just split up with his ex-boyfriend, Larry found himself heating things up. They headed to George's apartment and the clothes came straight off, I told you. But then they heard a commotion coming from outside the apartment. Their night of play was interrupted when George's actual boyfriend, not ex, walked in on them, wielding scissors with a murderous look. The ex jumped on George, basically going for the jugular, I can never say that even when I was taking anatomy classes, the jugular, and screaming the entire way. Finally, Larry found an exit and made a beeline for it, completely butt naked. He doesn't believe in sleeping with random guys from Grindr anymore. I thought these were scary. I was trying to wet my pants. Here's story number 3. There was another pair of hands. Wow. If you ever been a gay man on a dating app, like Grindr is not a dating app. It should be, but it's really not. Like Grindr, you know that sometimes it can feel like slim pickings out there. This is especially true when every other gay man doesn't even have a decent photo posted. But for men like Steven, not his real name, by the way, finding world-class ass is easy until the person it's attached to tries to lure you into a dangerous situation. One cool summer night, Many years ago, Steven matched with a cute, rural, hippie type of guy at around 3 a.m. While scrolling through Grindr. He was attractive, sent top-tier memes, and was down for a bit of NSA hooking up, which is no strings attached. There was one issue though. The cute hippie lived out in an RV in a nondescript location, which Steven now has come to realize was super sketchy. He even almost got lost on the way there. Steven eventually found his way and drove a couple of miles out of the city to park near the RV's location. The vehicle itself seemed okay enough, and it matched the photo Mr. Cute Grindr Hippie sent. Steven sent a message through his Grindr app, but the cute hippie refused to meet him outside. Instead, he responded through the app, asking Steven to come up to the door of the car. Naturally, Steven was hesitant. With his flashlight app in hand, Steven approached and finally got a good look at the other man. He looked exactly like the photo he posted on Grindr, except there was a pair of hands squeezing his neck from behind. Steven finally wised up and took this as a sign to hightail it out of there. Were they a weird couple looking for a third? Was the cute hippie even in real trouble? Was he dead? We'll never know. But that's what makes it scary. This is story number 4, and this is the last story. So far, story number 3 has been the most interesting, but let's get right into it. Story number 4 is called The Upstate Grappler. Our next protagonist is a Reddit user, Thrustations. Like every other person who shared their story, he's a gay man on Grindr who uses it for meeting up with other men for play, content for memes, and other things. But even after using the app to meet up with a couple of cute gay guys, nothing could have prepared him for his trip to upstate New York. Thrustations opened up his Grindr app on a frigid winter evening because he was, in truth, basically super horny and wanted to see what was out there. He received a message from a gay man living in upstate New York and headed out after a quick Google location search. Thrustations arrived around 9 p.m. to find his Grindr match. So let's call him David. Smoking out by his porch. So he found David smoking out on his porch. David was a little more tired looking than the photo posted on the app, but Thrustations wasn't picky. So he approached the house anyway. David basically leaped off his porch and led him over to the side of the house, which Thrustations took as a good sign. Nasty asses, all of you. He was about to let things run their course until David made a heart-stopping demand for Thrustations to get in the basement. That's when he came to realize this seemingly innocuous Grindr meetup was getting too real. I would be scared. Thrustations asked David why the basement and discovered it was because his wife and kids were upstairs. This is why I don't like meeting with guys like that. No. Before Thrustations could make a real attempt at running away, David's hand clamped onto his arm. He pulled him hard down the steps, but Thrustations wasn't going without a fight. He kicked and screamed the entire way, somehow managing to land a solid kick to David's shin. This caught David off guard, and he released his grip. Heart pumping, Thrustations made a break for it. He dashed into his car, fleeing from his Grindr meeting and vowing never to do it again. Or at least with the gay men from upstate New York. Well, that was pretty much it. Only the last 2 stories were actually interesting, in my opinion. I can just give you like a little small story that I have been through. So I once matched with someone and I was going to the gym. And then he has noticed me there. I asked, if I could take a shower at his place because this was like after the gym. He was like, sure. At first he said no, and then he was like, I bet. So I went into I drove it to his place. It was like 20 minutes away, and it was like in a gated community, so it looked kind of nice. I didn't think much of it. And then he told me like his apartment number, and so I decided to check. But the thing is that his apartment number, it needs to be up front because it's a number that was in between two other numbers that were there. And then I texted him. I was like, "Hey, what's up?" I was like, "I don't see it." And he was just like, "Oh, walk to the back." So I walked to the back, and there's numbers there. But the thing is that I could not see the numbers. So I kept texting him, but there was no response. And so I started walking more. And then I see like, cause you know how like some apartments, they have like those glass windows, the sliding doors. So yeah, I saw one that was completely open. And there was nothing but pure blackness in there. Like the shields, like the window shields was like slided off to one of the sides. And in the middle of that black room, I saw a figure. I was not gonna go in there because you know I've seen stories, I've been watching scary things on YouTube, and I could not go in there. So I kept walking after I saw that. And then yeah, got in my car, and then I went back on Grindr and I checked it out, and then he blocked me. So and I was like, yeah, and I was like, I'm going home. But that was pretty much it. So if you did enjoy this, you know, like, comment, subscribe. I should have said that in the beginning. But if you want to see more like this, you know, I'm down. Or if you want to send me some email submissions of your stories, I'm going to leave my email in my bio. Or you can just DM me on any of my platforms. And, you know, I'll probably just do like another story time. But other than that, you know, thanks for watching. Bye.